We haven't seen the half of it, I'm afraid. The main drivers of inflation last month were, as you say, fuel prices, but also hotels and pubs. I don't know if you've noticed, but the prices have been going up quite a bit in the hospitality industry.
I have.
The next thing to really go up, I think, is going to be food. And this is something that's going to happen over the rest of the year because it takes a while for higher prices, particularly higher fertiliser prices. And world fertiliser prices have gone up 3 or 4-fold in the last year, but that you don't see the effect of that in food for a very long time. You know, you plant your crops last year, you harvest them this year, you then feed the barley to chickens and cows, and the price of meat goes up even later than that. So we've got that time bomb to look forward to, and also we've got the energy cap is probably going to be lifted again later this year.
But the current energy cap, that's not actually reflected, is it? And correct me if I'm wrong, I bow to your knowledge, but the current energy cap came into force on the 1st of April.
Yeah, we're talking about March's figures here.
Yeah, it went up 54%, so that is not actually even factored in to this 7%.
Exactly, it's just the petrol and diesel at the moment. So we've got higher food prices to come, we've got higher gas prices very clearly to come, home heating costs are going to go up. We seem to be roughly a month behind America, actually. End of last year, America hit 7% inflation. Yesterday, America just hit 8.5%.
The OPR, 40-year higher in America, wasn't it?
And it may well go into double figures. I think it would probably go into double figures in this country, but it's very hard to predict these things. But what I will predict is it's definitely going to get worse.
And just as a brief reminder, the Bank of England's target was 2%. We're on 7%. Amy, your thoughts?
Yes, it's genuinely scary times, I think, and it's worth bearing in mind that the effects of this are not felt equally across the population. I think everyone is feeling it, but we know that these inflationary pressures, these price pressures affect those on the lower end of the earning scale more dramatically, disproportionately. And I think although we are seeing global trends, we are undoubtedly uniquely exposed in quite a number of ways in the UK. We've got a really poor public transport network, which means far too many people are reliant on private transport. That correlates with the increases in fuel costs. We also know we've got super leaky homes, which the government's done nothing to insulate, which means our energy bills are worse than they need to be. The government has done very little to crack down on profiteering by oil and gas companies. And I think as the situation gets worse and worse, the complete inadequacy of last week's spring statement becomes ever clearer. So little was done to support people on the lower end of the earning spectrum. And I think those people are going to face genuinely really scary times in the month ahead. And there is a need, and I think a real injustice in not seeing more action from government to protect those who are most vulnerable to these changes.